Happy Tuesday, beautiful souls, wherever you are on this phenomenal planet. It is time for Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays with yours truly, Lisa P, Lisa Puerto, Super Agent, the one, the only, and the original. How have you been? How was your weekend? Oh, loves, lovey. I'm feeling so ecstatic. I'm feeling fired. I'm excited about today's episode. This is going to be a good one, y'all. This is going to be a good one. So we are on episode number 38. Be sure to invite someone to see what we're doing, to come hang out with us for Shift Your Thinking, where we transform our inner experience to a phenomenal outer experience for 13 minutes of our day together every week. Oh my goodness. I want to first thank you all for connecting with me on social media. Connect.Build.Share at lasuperagent on all social media. Really appreciate you guys who are getting hip to what I'm doing and subscribing and jumping on the mailer and subscribing to the YouTube channel. Like, yo, I love you. I love you. And for those of you who are supporting on the podcast, you guys are showing out. So I thank you for growing with me and growing the podcast channel. That is super awesome and exciting. Again, Shift Your Thinking is a bonus series on the Ready, Set, Real Estate podcast. Why? Because real estate is a mindset. And this is me intertwining that mindset to getting us prepared or making sure we stay ready, right? We stay ready, set real estate. I had to. So today's episode, I'm calling this, let's see. Casually meeting or seriously prepared. Casually meeting or seriously prepared. Episode 38. Yeah, this is episode 38. And if you're new to the show, make sure you jump on the podcast or the YouTube. That way you can get caught up. And those of you who are texting me and giving me feedback about some of the episodes you're on, that's so awesome. And it comes at a time where it's so needed. It's so appreciated. So I get the random text messages or DMs and say, hey, how'd you know? Or, oh my gosh, this episode completely applied to me. Or this episode just gave me life. Love you. You guys, this is us. This is why. This is our why. And I'm really having an amazing time. So shout out to my Instagram family. Shout out to Facebook. I see Auntie Martha's. See, committed. Auntie Martha's on the gram. And for those of you who are online, make sure you hit that like button and share and swipe and all the cool things that you get to do. Swipe left, swipe right, so that people are tuned in. So, casually meeting or seriously prepared. This is what I'm calling episode number 38. And we are continuing our series from Shift Your Thinking, authored by Dean Del Sesto. Here it is. 200 ways to improve your life. We're doing this together. What is knowledge is power, but application is wisdom. That's my saying. I don't know if someone if someone else has said it, but knowledge is power, application is wisdom. So doing this with me is no good if you're not applying it. I'm just IJS, y'all, IJS. The author says, and if you're following along, I'm in the section where it says, our confidence in meetings will always be in direct proportion to our preparation. So that's why I call it casually meeting or seriously prepared. Stop playing. Life is a series of meetings from casual to serious. They are the means by which we get things done or don't. We've all been in meetings when we've been impressed, and in others we could have done without or would even have run from if possible. And yet the combined effectiveness of people and process in a well-tuned meeting has amazing potential if someone comes to the table prepared and is willing to put forth effort, respect the time of all involved, and run a strong meeting. I'm going to build there because that was a lot when we're talking about preparedness, casual to being prepared. And I could remember, and let me know, jump in if you feel free, if you feel this resonates. I can recall having to do projects and presentations. And if you went to those schools where they like make you do public speaking, you guys, right? You had to do the project, you had to get up in front of the class and present your project, right? Your paper or your idea, basically pitch. And he's right. We are in meetings all the time, albeit bumping into someone on the street where it's casual, it's informal, or when it's in a formal setting, like in class or for work. And have you noticed that when you feel strong with a K, when you're feeling strong with a K, there isn't so much of sweaty palms unless you are the person that has those physiological reactions, which are perfectly fine. And there's some techniques to get through that with public speaking, especially if you're a person who has bodily reactions, like making sure that you have maybe a cup of water with you if you get dry mouth, or make sure you have a handkerchief or tissue if you're a person who perspires or sweats. Make sure that maybe you have a token to keep your hands from fidgeting. And it does take practice. I share this with you guys. This is me practicing because I do practice. I have to pitch, I have to send proposals, I have to do presentations every time I'm consulting with a new client, or every time I'm impromptu with a networking event or a conference. And so I'm all the time, I've got to be able to be prepared. And same goes for you, whether you're casually meeting with someone, and it's making sure that, you come off, first impressions are key, right? First impressions are key, that you come off in a way that resonates in your authenticity, your truth. Again, I'm going to bring us back here because this is all about being in our truth. And we're feeling cool, calm, and collected about what comes out of our mouth and how we're presented. So, are you casually meeting or seriously prepared? The outcome of every gathering you lead and its impact on your personal brand hinges on preparation, personal brand. And here's what's interesting. When I started this whole shift your thinking, I think that was the first or second episode we talked about personal brand. If you were a brand, would you buy yourself? And I answered yes, double hands up, all day, all the time. I'm betting on me. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel that if you were a personal brand, would someone buy you? And he's saying this here again. Relevant preparation, being prepared. And he says, and not just preparation of the facts, figures, backgrounds, materials, and such. He says those are important, of course, and that's logistical stuff, what I would call logistics. They're the basics and should be exemplary and consistent, but more to the point, getting clear about who you are. Go figure. I'm so in sync with this book. This is classic to me. I'm fascinated by this because I kid you not, I don't read ahead, you guys. I like impromptu make up these titles and we learn this together because we're building together. And he says this, it's more about getting clear about who you are. And this is what I said about resonating with your authentic self, your true self. And your body gives you those cues when you are operating from that true self, right? With the exception of the physiological reactions. And I mentioned, right, make sure you, and for me, I have to be mindful about talking with my hands. And people who are, and this I notice is cultural, and this is also depends on where you're from, like even state. I notice some people from certain parts of the country are very affectionate. So their intonations and inflections of their voice go very high, low. And so it's being able to know this is what you do and to be able to control your pitch, your intonations, your inflections. That way they're not misread by the person you're communicating with. The other thing is when you're speaking with your hands. So oftentimes when I find myself maybe presenting publicly, I try not to have my hands flaring all over the place, and I kind of lock it in a diamond position. Or again, maybe if you have something in hand, like maybe if you're presenting, you'll have a clicker. Or I mentioned a token, are you someone that has that special rock in your pocket? I know some of you have the special rock in your pocket. Are you the person that has a special rock in your pocket to make sure your hands are not busy? Why? Because when you speak, and here's the thing with body language, and we touched on this again, 90% of what you are saying is coming from your body. 10% is coming from your mouth. So oftentimes when you're speaking with your hands too much, that is interpreted as you are trying to oversell or convince. Listen to this. You are trying to oversell or convince the person you are speaking with. And I oftentimes I have to read you. And again, that's discernment. Is this person speaking from a cultural standpoint or maybe where they are from, right? Or is it because they're trying to make up stuff and they're trying to get you on board to believe, so they're doing all of this? Oh my gosh, that would look crazy on the camera. So forgive me for those of you who are watching my hands. So again, he says, your posture, way of being, and presence in a meeting is more significant than what you present or say. Listen to that. Listen to this. Hey, Chris, thanks for joining and rejoining. Great to see you again. Happy Tuesday. He says, in truth, your way of being will be the driver and controller of everything that happens in a meeting, good or bad. And for those who don't consider themselves the best orators, being resolute about what you're committed to causing in the room is more important than how polished you are. So in other words, when you know what the focal point of your message is, are we casually meeting or seriously prepared? Ooh, this is a strong one, you guys. So someone might need this message for today. If you guys are in a meeting, you got an interview coming up, or you're pitching or you're proposing, or sometime this week. Again, it's not so much about the logistics, the materials, the backgrounds, the figures, the numbers. He's saying, and we're saying together, because I'm in sync with this. This is so awesome. We are saying together, it's about coming from authenticity, right? Your body is going to communicate your message. And what is the goal of the meeting? What is the goal? Like for me, my goal is I have to connect with new people, anywhere from 5 to 20 people a day. I have to be able to connect with 5 new people, at minimum 5 to 20 people a day. And that's going to be oftentimes in a casual meeting. It's going to be impromptu. So I have to be mindful that I'm always in my brand. I'm always mindful of presentation, which is why oftentimes you guys see me wearing my Ready, Set, Real Estate shirt, or I've got a Ready, Set, Real Estate hat, or I have my name badge where I can be easily identified in my profession. There's no guessing what I do. Real estate, I'm very clear. I'm clear. And that's what he's saying. You've got to be clear about you. Oh, this is awesome. He says, and how much you care for others in the room will overpower how good your presentation looks. So again, are you mindful of your audience? Again, when you're speaking for impact, presenting for impact, are you tailoring the message to be about your audience? It's not about you. It's not about me. And this is what I shared when I said doing shift your thinking. It's not solely about me. It's about us connecting, building, and sharing together, right? We grow together, added value. But in all honesty, I do innately have a serving spirit. So I love doing this. I really like dopamine. The dopamine happens for me, you guys. I get extremely pumped and I get all kinds of love released out of me in building with you and connecting with you, because you guys are all over the world. And I think that's what's so fascinating about being able to do stuff like this on the Facebook Live, Instagram Live, on the podcast, on the YouTube, because we get to connect right where you are. I don't have to drag you anywhere else outside of your comfort zone, but we can learn together. That was my sidebar, just in case you guys didn't realize. And he says, lastly, how clear you're about specific steps after the meeting is equally important to the steps took walking in. Your preparation needs to cover all the bases. Then you'll be armed. My favorite word. I've been using that word a lot, actually. Arming people, because there's a whole empowerment movement, right? There's a whole making sure we're equipped. But I like now saying arming people. You're armed with this. The tool from Shift Your Thinking, when we build together, you're armed for the day. At least I want to feel like you are armed for the day. And then the week until the next week we meet up. He says you're armed with the confidence you need to make sure every meeting you lead is a home run or at least a triple. I was short, sweet, and powerful. So I leave this with you. Are you casually meeting or seriously prepared? I love you. I love you. I love you. Be sure to connect, build, and share with me at lasuperagent on all social media. And be sure to subscribe and download the radio podcast. I will see you guys next week for episode number 39. Love you. Oh my goodness, that was so awesome.